watching Soulful Discussions.
Somewhere towards the top. That way we can get some sound. I've been doing this whole thing this whole time and totally forgot I had it in my.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Sorry, guys who are watching this for the sound not being good in those first couple minutes, but it's all good. Let me ask you this: if a friend or a loved one was like dealing with stress, anxiety, anything like that, is there anything you would say or do with them to like kind of help them through that time?
Prayer.
Yep.
Reading the Bible. Getting enough sleep.
Okay.
And actually changing your eating habits, because I've learned, because I'm in a nutrition class, and they're saying like change your eating habits affects your body physically.
Absolutely. And I think I've heard that quite a few times where it's like the things that you put into your system is what you'll get back out of it, right?
Exactly.
And I think the same thing like with the spirit and everything like that, your mind. Everything you put in, you're going to get that right back out, so might as well focus on some positive things, some like nutritious things, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely. In terms of yourself, you don't have to go too in depth with this question, just like maybe more of a surface level answer. But what are some things that bring you anxiety? And then like when you feel anxiety happening, what do you do to like counteract how you're feeling in the moment?
Really just school.
Okay.
How do I deal with it? I kind of just let it pass.
Okay.
I haven't figured out a strategy yet. I feel like I probably keep myself busy for the most part, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of tough too. Like school, like you got all these deadlines. You got like sometimes you can feel like you got work packed on top of work, and like it's just like, man, how do I do it and still maintain like a life outside of this where I can like feel sane at the end of it, right? Absolutely. If you could change one thing about yourself, right, and it doesn't have to be something physical, but just in general, is there anything you would change?
My overthinking. I feel like I overthink a lot of things, and like that kind of like eat away at myself, but. Yeah,
I definitely got some tips for you today. Hopefully it'll be helpful for you with the overthink, because your boy tends to be a chronic overthinker as well. And actually that topic helped me out a lot, like kind of like getting out of that, not necessarily having to like feel like every situation is a situation to like think deeply. Like sometimes it's just make a decision, live with whatever happens, right? Absolutely. So let's get into these questions now. Fill in the blank on this question. When I think about my feet, I feel.
I feel like I feel good because I keep them done.
Okay, so you take care of them.
Yeah.
So in terms of like on the opposite side, like you feel good about them, like that's like the part that grounds you to the earth and things like that. So you like feel positively about it.
And I feel like my feet keep me balanced above ground.
Absolutely, it's very important. I think a lot of people tend to underlook and like don't like pay as much attention to that because it's like, I guess like the last part of our body, like if we're looking from top to bottom.
Right.
And so, but it's like one of the most important parts because like without that, like you wouldn't be able to walk, stand, do all those things. So I think it's definitely important. Let me ask you this. Have you ever received compliments about your feet? Has anybody ever said to you, hey, I think you have nice feet?
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you this. When you got a compliment about that in the moment, like how did it make you feel? What did you think?
I felt good about it because I know a lot of people be insecure about their feet.
Since I started doing this channel, you would be surprised. And like, I'm talking about, there have been women who I've seen like very nice looking and all that stuff, and like I ask them about that, and they're just like, I don't like my feet. Like that's like saying all kinds of things.
Yeah. Like only thing is my feet are long. Like I would have a long foot, but
I think you're kind of like slender and long yourself, so I think it like matches the rest of your body. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this: in terms of compliments you receive from men and women, right? Do you prefer to receive it from one group over the other?
Not necessarily. It's just like if the compliment is like straightforward, I don't mind. But if you being a little weird about it,
you start doing a little bit too much.
Yeah, from both sides. Like don't do too much.
Absolutely.
But I don't mind though. I don't mind.
Cool. In terms of compliments you receive, right? Is there a certain compliment that when you get it from somebody, you're like, man, that really made my day. It made me feel good. Anything like that?
I feel like more so from my teachers.
Okay.
Because I feel like they like my biggest critic sometimes.
Well, and I think that's the thing, right? Because sometimes you can feel like you wrote a really good paper or something, and they'll come back and like, you could do this better, you could do that. You're like, damn, I put my heart and soul into that. Like,
but
absolutely.
just like when people be like, I don't know, just like you made my day, or like just like my kind gestures and stuff.
I think for me, man, I really like the one about energy because I feel like, and I tell it to a lot of people, but I feel like sometimes I might not feel like I'm at that point. Like I might feel like a little out of it or something like that. But when somebody can say to me like, man, like your energy was like really on point. Yeah. That makes me like feel like, damn, okay, I'm doing something good because I'm making somebody else like, feel good or whatever. So definitely. That's a good one. Absolutely. In terms of pedicures, how often do you get pedicures?
I'll say, well, I get gel, so gel lasts longer. Gel. So probably like every month and a half.
Yeah, my girlfriend, she gets gel too.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started taking her to get pedicures, like she would get the normal one, and she was like, wait a minute, that gel lasts a little longer. Let me start getting that.
Yeah, so it's a little, but I mean, it the quality.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if I get take it and it lasts for like 3 to 4 weeks, then I'm good. Absolutely. Yeah. Have you ever heard of a medical pedicure before?
A medical pedicure?
Yeah.
Is that like with ingrown toenails?
Yeah, so yeah, pretty much. So like you go see a podiatrist, it's a specialist of the foot. Basically what they do is they take a look at your feet, they make sure like your toenails like grow correctly. Yeah. They make sure you're like your toe alignment's on point. They'll check your feet for like dead skin, fungus. They do all the work there with like medical grade equipment.
Oh, right? Okay.
What they do is they really get into like what's going on with your feet. Like, hey, they can tell you like, hey, you know, you should use this type of lotion for your feet because they get kind of dry, right? Some people tend to not know what the right types of lotion to use, so they can kind of give you insight based on your body chemistry, right? Okay. So what would your thoughts be on seeing somebody like that who could give you like more insight? Like they don't really do colors and stuff. They can't like, you know, make them beautify like the nail salons can, but they can like do the health. I
wouldn't mind because I actually get ingrown toenails. Okay. And like my big toes. But the nail shop, they usually get it out like like no problem. But I wouldn't mind seeing that because I want to know why I keep getting them.
So the thing is because your nails grow a certain way. So when you cut them, like there's a certain way you have to cut them to keep them from growing that way. Okay, so, that makes sense. I think that would be something big for you to like learn some information about. Absolutely. In terms of shoes, how often you wear like open toe shoes, sandals and flip flops, things like that?
Whenever the sun is out.
Whenever the sun is out. Okay. So are we saying like 70-degree temperatures? You like cool? I'm wearing sandals and or whatever. Or are we saying like during the summer?
I'd say like anything above 70 degrees.
Anything above 70. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
But if it's raining, no.
No. It's like not getting me out here like that. Absolutely. In terms of going barefoot, how often do you do that?
Mainly like in my house or like at the beach.
So in your house or at the beach. Now let me ask you this, because I always get that, right? What about if you go to a park?
No.
Okay, so hold on, let me, because I get that a lot. People are like, absolutely not.
Because I know it's sand, but.
But I'm saying this, so like you went to the park, you're under like shaded tree, you got your blanket out, favorite book, little couple snacks there, shoes on or shoes off?
I might take my shoes off, but as long as my feet is on the blanket, not the grass.
That's what I'm saying, though. You know, I get it. A lot of people are like, man, we don't know if the person had their dogs out here or whatever like that. So I could definitely understand like why you would like be like, nah, I don't know about that.
But even at the beach, I make sure my feet on the blanket. It's just too much sand. Too much sand.
You don't like the sand?
It's just, it get everywhere. Like, say like, okay, I'm wrapping it up. I'm trying to get the sand off my feet to get in my car, and I was sand in my car.
No, that's true. So that's the one reason I do not like the beach. Like I love the water.
Yeah, and just the views.
Yeah, the sand. I'm just like, oh, God, if only the sand wasn't there, I'd be good. Yeah. Let me ask you this: have you ever heard of earthing and grounding before? Do those sound familiar?
Earthing and grounding?
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard it from like the people that's more in tune with like the spiritual.
Absolutely. So it's like going barefoot in like grass, dirt, sand.
Okay.
People who do it feel like they connect to the earth, right? So it's something you can do. Let's say, for example, you had a long day at school. You're like, man, I feel like, man, I just had test after test. I'm like really exhausted mentally. something you can do is basically just go stand in like some grass, about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Basically, what you do is you focus on what you're feeling in the moment. You don't focus on like what happened before and things that happen afterwards. You just focus on like, man, right now I feel a cool breeze coming through, like I feel soft grass.
So is it like a reset?
Absolutely. So basically, it can like reset that mental space that maybe you had clogged up due to like dealing with some stressful situations or whatever like that. So somebody explained it to me like this. I talked to a Reiki master and they were like, basically like, remember when you were a child, like sometimes you would go around, run around, like no shoes on, just go outside, like play.
Yeah.
It's like doing grounding or earthing like for about 10 to 15 minutes a day will give you that same feeling of freedom, like where you you didn't worry about like bills, nothing like that. You just focused on like what are you feeling in the moment. And so like I was like, man, that's very true. Like, you know, when you're a kid, you don't worry about none of that stuff. You can do the same thing as an adult. So that might be a tip for you, something you could do like if you are having one of those times, just to focus on something like that. Absolutely. All right, so right now, can we see what your feet look like?
Oh, so I'm glad my feet done.
Okay, leave socks on for right now. We'll have you leave socks on for right now. But can I take both feet out? Okay. And if we can I get you to like maybe roll the window down and just put your feet out the window? That'll be easier for us.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll hand you your shoes. That way you can close the door and then we'll just get you to just put your just put your feet through the window.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let me ask you this: what size shoe do you wear first of all?
What size do it look like I wear? Long?
Ooh. You put me on the spot. You're like, let's see if we get it right. I would say like 7.5 to 8.
I wear a 9.
Do you really?
Yes, my feet are long. Because they narrow probably.
They narrow. That's probably why. Like, you know, tend to like, it looks different, but it definitely looks like a little bit smaller to me. Okay.
Yeah.
And then let me ask you this: do your toes go from big to small, or is your second toe longer?
I think my big toe and my second toe like the same size. The same size? I think.
That's very rare.
I would hope my middle toe is not bigger than my big toe.
But listen, if it was, because there's different toe alignments, I don't know if you know that. So if your bigger toe is longer, that's called the Egyptian toe alignment. Right? If your second toe is longer, it's called the Grecian toe alignment. You may have what's called like the Roman, like it's almost kind of like your toes are like almost the same size across. That might be what you might have there. Okay. Absolutely. So like there's different toe alignments for everybody. Absolutely. All right, so I'll have you take the socks off now.
Okay. Whew. I hope they're not ashy. They shouldn't be.
Don't worry, we're not here to judge. Okay, and so it looks like, no, I would say you have the Egyptian toe alignment. Your bigger toe is like slightly longer than the other toes. Okay. Absolutely. So you have the Egyptian toe alignment. But yeah, your feet look really nice. It looks like you just, how long ago did you have the pedicure?
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Wow, Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
It's still looking really nice. But you have to tell me where this nail salon is.
I'm due for a touch-up though.
You due for a touch-up? Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you this. Leave your feet out. We're going to go through a couple more exercises. But let me ask you this. What are your thoughts about like we've been asking you questions. We kind of take a look at your feet. What are your thoughts?
It's very different, but life is all about experiences. Yeah. Because, you know, I didn't mind doing it for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I asked you online. You were just like, yeah, sure. No worries. Yeah. Like, you didn't even ask me, like, what was it about? It's just like.
Yeah, like, you seemed cool. If I didn't feel good about it, I would have been like.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So let me tell you kind of like the mental health of what got me started on my channel. So that way it'll kind of make sense in terms of like why I'm asking the questions, why is it going this way. So during quarantine, like I was watching another guy's channel, right? And he was talking about exposure therapy. Are you familiar with that? So it's for people who feel like you may feel uncomfortable in a certain situation or scenario, or you're an overthinker, kind of like you said you are. So let's say you wanted to get better at just like, I just want to make snap decisions. I don't want to overthink things all the time, right? What therapists will tell you to do is like the things that like make you like kind of like guess and like sit up there and think, just go out and do it. Like do it over and over again, right? What the thought process is, the more that you do it, the more comfortable you become with it, because you'll start to learn like, oh, okay, like what was I really worried about? Like nothing bad happened. There's nothing like really for me to really think about. Like I'm just creating these scenarios in my head, like so that I don't do something, right? It's kind of something to hold you back from like experiencing the best in life, right? Yeah. So when I heard about that, I was like, man, like, you know, I've been overthinking things my whole life. Yeah. Like, how can I get better at that? So I was like, let me start adopting some of this. But then I had the same idea because during quarantine, a lot of women was getting into foot modeling. Like, that was a thing, right? Like, people were like, you know, trying to look around as a woman doing this and they're making money off of it. So I was like, wait a minute. What if I took exposure therapy together with, like, I'm just going up meeting random women who I just met. Like, I don't know you. We've never met before. See if they can be comfortable. Like, we talk, we have this discussion. When we get to this point, do you start to feel uncomfortable? Can you get out of the comfort zone? Even if you do, like, okay, like, let's just see what happens? Or do you get to the point where you're like, nah, I can't move any further? So and then I try to test that, the challenge, can you come out of that? Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Is there anything that you're like envisioning that's bad? And so I get different reactions. I get some women who are like completely open like yourself. They're just like, yeah, I'm not really tripping. And some women will start to be like,
yeah, I mean, I never thought I'd be having my feet out the window.
No, exactly. But the whole interview is like tested for that, so that you can like get to that point to see, do you like, are you somebody who's just open minded and just like kind of like, oh, let's just see what happens, or do you like get to the point where you're like, I don't know, man. Like, I guess when women start talking about the pedicure, like, I haven't had a pedicure, I don't know. People are gonna see this and they're gonna say this and that, and it's like,
I can't tell you if I didn't mean to cut you off. If my feet wasn't done,
I would be like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Would I be able, after I like telling you the things I'm telling you now, would that get you out of your comfort zone, or would you just be stuck in that comfort zone? Because I think about it like this, right? I always tell people this. Like, so if somebody was to say something bad about your feet, like, hey, because your feet weren't done, and they're like, the feet are not really nice, how does that impact you like 5 years from now?
I don't think I would care about it.
You wouldn't care, right? And then it's something you can fix, because all you do is go get your feet done.
Exactly.
Done. So, like, in terms of the overthinking, like, that's what I would challenge you on. Like, like, why overthink it now? Like, if it's not something that's going to impact you 5 years from now.
If you could fix it.
Exactly. You can fix it. It's not something that's, like, permanent or anything like that. So, like, why worry about it?
That makes sense. That actually makes sense.
So that's what something I would like share with you in terms of, because you said you're an overthinker. Think about, how will this impact me 5 years from now? And if it doesn't, if you can't see it impact you in any way, then what are you worried about?
So mainly just focus on the things I can change.
Exactly. So yeah, so like when I go out and do this, the whole point of my channel is to try to like create positivity around the subject of feet, because a lot of people tend to feel uncomfortable about it, or they think it's a weird thing. Yeah. So my channel is all about trying to like reinforce positivity and do my interactions with women. Absolutely. So what are your thoughts about that? Kind of like what my channel is doing.
I like it. It's different. Usually like the YouTube channels I watch, like it's like pranks and like just public interviews, but it's never about feet. Like yours has meaning. Like I like it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
So
let's talk about reflexology, and I'll let you get up out of here. I know you got some Subway, I got some Subway. So definitely got to go eat. So reflexology is all about the different pressure points you actually have in your hands and your feet. Right? Oh, okay. So those pressure points actually like connect to different parts of your body. So like, let's say for example, like if you go get a massage, you go to do acupuncture, or you do acupressure, what it does is basically alleviate stress and tension to like different parts of your body, like your organs, things like that. Let's say, for example, you're somebody who does migraines, right? It's actually a portion of your hands and feet you can massage that alleviates the tension that you feel in those moments, right? Oh. So, and there's also a piercing you can get in your ear too, does the exact same thing.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the piercing?
Huh?
What's the piercing?
It's right here. It's like you get it right here in this spot.
Oh.
Yeah, and I talked to a couple women who had told me like as soon as they got that piercing, they were like, migraine's gone.
Because I had this one. It came out though. Okay. But it was like a surface tragus.
Yeah.
But it was cool.
Yeah. And they told me that when they got that though, they was like, I would get migraines all the time. As soon as I got that, didn't feel them anymore. Absolutely. So yeah, definitely I like to give this information, because a lot of people don't know you can like sometimes cure the things in your body that like little aches and pains, like simple massage, some acupuncture or something like that can like actually help you with that.
I never knew that.
Absolutely. So usually when we get to this portion, we like to ask about sensitivity, right? Okay. How ticklish do you tend to be?
I don't like it.
Okay. When you get pedicures, are you like kind of ticklish?
Oh yeah, I tell them don't scrub, don't do this.
I have a trick for you that'll help you with that, because like pumice stone stuff is very helpful, right? So do you mind if we test it? I actually have a tool. I'm not touching you with my hands or anything. Would that be okay?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, I'll have you hold this just 1 second for me so I get the tool out. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to test which foot is most sensitive and which area of the foot is most sensitive. And then I'm going to show you what the trick is. Okay. You just tell me like...
Wait, it's going to tickle me?
It's going to tickle first, but then afterwards it won't tickle. It should be fine.
Oh, Lord.
All right, so here we go. Okay. So like, oh, Lord, did I get myself...
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, so hold on. Here we go. So here's what I want you to do, right? You're just going to go from bottom to top. Tell me where you feel it at the most.
Okay.
Ready?
Uh-huh.
Let's do it. All right. Where do you feel it at the most?
The top.
The top? So is it in the middle?
Not at the bottom. The top.
So like right here.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Tell me, is your left worse? Okay. 1, 2, 3. And you feel this one more or less?
The left don't really bother me.
The left doesn't bother you. So right. Are you right-handed?
I'm right-handed.
That's what it is. Okay.
Really?
That's what I want you to do.
Okay.
First of all, what's the level? Like if you could give me like a number, and I was doing it from 1 to 10.
For like each foot?
With 10 being like extreme, what was it?
Maybe like a 3, because it was just like a tingly feeling.
Like a 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
The right foot,
Okay.
Like a 7.
Okay. Let me try one more thing because like this will probably be like more in line with the scrubbing. So that way we can see exactly what that's like. All right. Let's try this one. Okay. This is more in line with scrubbing. You ready?
I got that brush.
All right. 1, 2, 3. All right.
The middle.
A little bit more?
Yeah.
What is it this one at now?
Like an 8.
Like an 8. Okay, cool. That's what I wanted to get to so that way you can see when it drops. Okay, let's try this one now. Okay. And this one is, what do we have here?
Like a 4.
Like a 4.
Yeah.
So here's what I want you to do. While I'm doing it, I want you to wiggle your toes. You tell me if you feel it more or less. So wiggle here, right? Right side. Feel it more or less. You probably don't
it's not that bad.
You know why?
Because I'm moving my toes.
So yeah, so plus you're thinking about it, right? So you're like, okay, move my toes, right? So like your feet, everything is connected to your brain. So when you like send a signal like do this, right? It's almost like a distraction to something else that's happening. Plus, when you move your toes, it like moves the energy. So the spot that I'm like actually doing it, you can't feel it. Okay. So when you go get your pedicures, you can get the pumice stone now. You can just wiggle your toes while you do it. You'll feel it less. Okay. Absolutely. So let's try the left. You tell me if it's less here too. Okay. Wiggle. Less?
It's like the same.
Okay, so you still feel it the same way you feel this?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm going to have you do a couple exercises with your feet, and then we'll be done, okay? This is the test like dexterity and flexibility, okay? So what I want you to do first, bend your toes, make a fist, tell me if you feel pain or discomfort. Is that easy to do? Is that hard to do?
It's easy.
Easy, relax. Yeah. Okay, next, let me get you spread your toes, tell me if you feel pain or discomfort while you're doing that. Is that easy to do? Oh, good spread. You do yoga?
I used to be a dancer.
There it is. Answer. Here we go.
And cheerleader.
I want you to just go ahead and just wiggle your toes for about 10 seconds. You tell me if you feel any pain, discomfort, any cramping happening after a while. Usually people start to feel it if they're doing it for a bit. Pretty standard? Nothing?
Nothing.
All right, cool. We're pretty much done. All right, you put your feet down now and everything. So let's wrap up the interview now. Okay. In terms of my approach, right? When I came up to you, I asked you to do the interview. Did you feel my approach was good? Was it bad? How did you feel?
It was good.
Okay.
It was good.
Cool. In terms of the interview, right? Start to finish, could you see how everything was going along in a line? Did it make sense? Did you learn anything new from the information?
Yeah, I learned new stuff. I feel like the order of it made sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
You definitely learned that you can go get the pumice stone on your feet though, because you can.
But then it's like I wouldn't mind getting it, but I feel like they gonna scrape off my soft skin. They gonna make my feet hard. Yeah.
Really, you feel that way?
Yeah, because I feel like after a couple times, my skin and my feet feel different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe you do it 1 or 2 times. You pass on it some other times, but you can at least get it now where you don't have to worry about like I can't
being ticklish.
Too ticklish.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the last thing I always ask on my channel, something you can say to my channel that maybe it was like a life lesson you learned, maybe it was something that somebody said to you that was like a wise saying, anything that could be helpful from like a mental health standpoint.
Okay, repeat that one more time. One more time. I'm sorry.
Something that you can say to the channel. Maybe it's a life lesson you learned, some wise words somebody shared with you, just something you could say that's like helpful from a mental health standpoint.
It gets better.
Okay.
Yeah. You just gotta keep going. It gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, right? Yeah, we think it's not like my pastor always gives a parable about the storm, and he always talks about like there's 3 stages to it, right? You're either going into a storm, you're in the middle of a storm, or you're coming out of a storm, right?
Exactly.
So it's like focusing on those things. Like even though you may feel like times are really bad, it'll end at some point.
It will.
The sun is always shining.
It will.
Over the top. So absolutely. Yeah. But definitely thank you. We appreciate you stopping to do this interview with us.
You're welcome.
And we hope that you have a great one. Okay?
All right, you too.
Enjoy that Subway.
I will.